Imagine you discover you can't sue someone who owes you money. Why? Because the legal clock has run out. This is because statute of limitation laws set strict deadlines for filing lawsuits. If you sue after the deadline, the court says it has no power to help. Your case is status barred. In plain terms, you missed your chance. So, what is a statute of limitation? A statute of limitation is basically a legal expiration date on a claim. The law says you must start your lawsuit within a certain time frame or lose the right to sue. The idea of time limiting legal claims traces back to ancient Roman law. Romans introduced rules that certain claims could not be brought after long periods of inaction. Under Emperor Theodosius, some actions had to be brought within 30 years. By the 17th century, in medieval England, statutes were passed to prevent old claims. The earliest well-known one was the Statute of Limitation Law in 1623, which formally set deadlines for different types of civil lawsuits, such as contracts and property disputes. Over time, parliaments kept updating these rules to reflect fairness and order. The idea behind these laws is that a person must seek prompt remedy for any legal wrong, or their claim becomes unenforceable once time expires. As one court explained, the law won't let a sleeping plaintiff suddenly wake up years later and demand justice. In effect, the statute of limitation puts a lid on old cases. It balances fairness. Evidence stays fresh and memory stays sharp. It's an equity rule, meaning it arose to protect defendants from defending old and stale claims. If you slept on your right too long, the law simply denies the remedy. Now, you may be thinking, why such deadlines? Think about it. As time passes, witnesses disappear, documents get lost, and memories fade. The statute of limitation forces people to sue while evidence is available and disputes are still fresh. It prevents someone from keeping a claim hanging over another's head forever. In legal terms, it requires a claimant, as a matter of obligation, to seek prompt remedy. The countdown on statute of limitation usually begins when a cause of action accrues, basically when you have a legal right to sue. For example, if you sleep on a wet floor in a hotel lobby where there isn't a wet floor sign and you break your leg on January 1st, 2020, your limitation period starts that day or from when you discover the injury. If a contract is broken, the clock starts on the day of the breach. If a company defrauds you, it generally starts when the fraud is discovered. In plain terms, as soon as you could have sued, the clock begins to run. There are, however, some special rules in regards to statute of limitation, such as if the defendant fraudulently conceals their wrongdoing, the clock may not start until you discover it. If you are minor or mentally incapacitated when the event happened, time may be paused until you reach adulthood or regain capacity. These exceptions prevent unfairly cutting off claims in special circumstances, but absent those, time runs from the event itself. These are some examples of deadline for lawsuits. However, these vary from country to country or state to state. Some cases are even faster. Election-related lawsuits, for example, must be filed almost immediately, often within 14 to 21 days after an election result. If you file a lawsuit after the limitation period, the law treats your case as non-existent. In legal terms, it's status barred. The courts literally have no jurisdiction to hear it. The claimant still might have a valid grievance, but the law says, too late, you have no remedy. When a court finds a suit is status barred, it dismisses the case. The plaintiff is left with what judges call a bare and empty claim. The rights exist on paper but cannot be enforced. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment.